Hello and welcome to the podcast, or welcome if you're new to the podcast, or welcome back if you're a returning listener. I'm your host, Nick, and today I have got a few things to go over. So on Sunday, I did a podcast talking about the qualifying in Monaco, and I was talking about my excitement for the race of that day on Sunday for the Monaco Grand Prix. And it was looking like it could have been spicy. The ingredients there were pretty decent. It looked like it could have been a good meal or a good race, if you want to. Yeah, I was taking a piss calling it a meal. It's a race. I thought it had every little bit there. Maybe not every little bit there, but I had bits there for it to be spicy. But it was quite bland. It wasn't quite bland. It was boring. It was predictable. And I was disappointed. I'm not going to lie to you. We watched it on Sunday, had a few drinks, and it was nice. It was nice. It was nice company. I had a few friends around. It was great. But we all just we were watching the race. It was just like, it got annoying. So we were all very much looking forward to seeing if there was going to be a safety car or a red flag. There was none. There was nothing. It was a yellow flag, a virtual safety car, I guess you'd call it, in one of the areas where a front wing came off. I think it was Esteban Ocon's car, or someone's car. And I was like, hang on, what? A wing has come off and they've left it the race not red flagged. Was it Esteban Ocon? Was it Pierre Gasly's car? And they left it going. And if that was any other race, they would have red flagged it. And that was semi-early on. But we were thinking, well, they've got to do 2 pit stops this race. Are they going to do it straight away in lap 1 and get it out of the way like some people did do? And it just became, it was a shame. Because I've been hyping up Monaco forever in my life, and I kind of hyped up a little bit the other day on the old podcast, saying like, I'm looking forward to this one. It's a great race. It's a race I'd love to go and watch, and it is. It still is a race I'd love to go and watch. But you've got to be realistic, and you got to look at that race. It was so shit. It was annoying. So you had back markers on teams. So you had, I think it was Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz. You had Alex holding back the middle of the grid, so Alex could pull ahead, so he could do a pit stop and get free pit stop. And I think it was the same with Liam Lawson and Isaac Hadjar. And it was just, I think Liam at one point was just fucking miles off the mark. And I get it; it's good for them because they got some good points this weekend. So Liam came 8th. Which was great, and Isaac came 6th. So great points for them. I think it was 10 or whatever? No, 12? 12 points for the team. So really good for the Racing Bulls. But it wasn't just them, it was everyone. And it just got boring. You knew what was happening. The car ahead would pull ahead, the car behind would hold back, and it was just giving free pit stops. It's entertaining in some senses what if the car ahead got to the cars ahead of them, and it couldn't get any further, and it just became like a ping pong type thing where it would bounce off one another, but it didn't. It was just predictable. Mercedes had a shocking weekend, but I just went away from a race feeling a little bit deflated. If you watch any other sports, say if you're a football fan, you've got a big match coming up, maybe it's the final or like a real big derby, and you're excited. The build's really good, and you get to the match, and your heart, everything's excited. You got drinks, you got food. You're just feeling buzzing about the game ahead, and the whistle blows, and it's 0-0. The first 45 minutes, be like, oh no, any breakthrough moment, and then second half comes in, and it's like 20 minutes into the second half, and it's still 0-0, and you just kind of sit there like this was a fucking waste of time. And that was Monaco's Grand Prix this weekend. It just made me sit there and just go, why do I support this track? When you have Formula E going around this track, it's amazing. I've watched a few clips of the past weekend's Formula E event they hold in Monaco, and the amount of overtakes they have on that track actually makes the track look really exciting. It actually is a great track. And I know people are like, no, it's not. It is. It's just the cars are way too big. Like, they're way too fat. They lose some weight. Get on the Zempic and lose some weight. Like, I couldn't believe. I think the overtake of the race was from Lance Stroll. It came out of the tunnel and then he overtook just before that bend, and it was a really good overtake, to be fair to Lance Stroll. I slagged him off in qualifying. I was fuming with him in qualifying if he didn't gather. But he had a really good overtake, but no one else could seem to do it. People were reserving their batteries for that reason. You had Lando and Leclerc chasing P1. And the last couple of laps, he was 0.4 seconds behind Lando. Literally, any other track, you go, oh my God, Leclerc's going to overtake him. But Lando had it sussed. He had it dialed in. He knew what he had to do. He had to drive a slow pace lap, reserve his battery, and when he knew where Leclerc could overtake, he just put his battery into effect and just pull away. And you could see it unfold in front of you. You could see Leclerc's enthusiasm just drop off. And people were saying, oh, you could see how quick Lando was in the last lap, how much he pulled away. I'm not buying that. I just think Leclerc just fucking deserves this. Is fucking pointless. What is the point? He just peeled off. I don't think it was Lando pulling away. Yeah, Lando probably did pull away a bit more, but I think Leclerc was just fucking done with it. And I think a lot of us were at that point. Well done to Lando. Incredible weekend from him. He had a great practice, great qualifying, amazing qualifying, not great, perfect qualifying. For a 109, that's incredible. And then to stay that position, even with that pressure with Leclerc, he locked up on the first bend, on the first lap, Lando did. And I thought, oh no, that lockup looks bad. But oh my God, I forgot his fucking name, but the main guy from McLaren, I forgot his bloody name. He used to be at Ferrari. Oh my God, I had a brain fart. I've been at work for 10 hours today, so I do apologise that my brain's not fully here. But he said the type of lockup he experienced was like, it wasn't a lockup where it would leave a flat spot on the tyre. It kind of went all over the tyre, so it wasn't actually too bad for the tyre itself. So that was interesting. But when I was watching that, I thought, oh my God, Lando's about to go straight into the runoff area. He's just going to fuck his race up and maybe even hit the barrier over end. He was going so quick. But he didn't. After that, he was smooth sailing. And then it all kind of unfolded with, I think Lewis had to get past a couple and he did do that. But you had George Russell behind Alex Albon, who he got annoyed with. And I think it was a few laps towards the end, he just went, fuck it. I'm just gonna go instead of taking the corner, I'm just gonna cut the corner and overtake Alex because this is just stupid. And I think he got a bit of a penalty for that, which rightly so. But it's apparent that the drivers actually don't enjoy driving this race. It's embarrassing for them. Like I take that back. They do enjoy driving it. It's just how it's done with the cars. It's embarrassing. Like, you got James Vowles sending Toto Wolff a sorry message halfway through the race because they're intentionally holding up Mercedes with Alex so they can get some good points for their team. And the same with Liam Lawson and Red Bulls. Same with every fucking team this weekend. No, everyone had it sus straight away. All of us were thinking, oh, what's going to happen? Maybe not. Maybe you weren't, but I was. I was thinking, well, what's going to happen with this two-tire strategy? It's going to be carnage. Pirelli were putting out, saying it was going to be an incredible race. It was going to be, no one knew what was going to happen. It was going to be chaos. And it was one of the most predictable races I've ever watched. It was. It's not boring because I wasn't bored because it's Monaco and I love seeing Monaco. It's just an incredible spectacle and a sight to behold. But also saying that, nothing fucking happened, and everything which was going to happen was all fake. It was all synthetic, like the whole we got to change your tyres twice and all of this. It's just a load of bollocks. It really was. George Russell got interviewed after the race and he said, well, maybe we could have sprinkler systems on the track and maybe 1 out of the 3 days, like random, we might get a watered down track. And it's just, he's joking around, but you also think of it, well, yeah, why the fuck not? Make it a little bit more exciting. Like this whole tyre thing and making them, people are saying, why didn't you use all the tyres? And why didn't you do, there's loads of different things people have said. Like my friends were saying, why didn't they do like almost like a qualifying twice, two qualifiers and then 2 Grand Prix with 10 drivers. And I was just like, what the fuck? But I get it. But then it'd be awkward with all the logistical side of things. And I don't know. It's just a shame. And people, I've seen online, people draw out the Monaco circuit and extending the straight out of the tunnel instead of having the bend straight there. They've pulled it back an extra 50 metres and, loads of different things and expanding the width of some bends and all of this. It all looks feasible. And Monaco isn't going anywhere anytime soon. I think they've got a contract to the 2030s plus. And I love that because if I win my lottery, I would love to go to Monaco and watch all of that and, take the whole part of the whole weekend. Is that going to happen? It's like a 1 in a billion chance. Probably not. Maybe even more than 1 in a billion. But, I cross my fingers, so hopefully that happens. But what I've seen with Monaco, I follow a lot of people on Instagram, on YouTube with engineering. And there was a video out this week, I think it's like IDB, whatever it is, like engineering. They were talking about the new apartments they built on the coast of Monaco. It's a synthetic island connected to the mainland of Monaco because it's such a small area. They've extended it. And what people are saying is, why don't they just extend a little bit of the track into the sea and just, make it a better track for overtakes? Just do it. Like they've done it with that apartment in 6 years. If they want Monaco to continue for forever, they have to change more with the track. I don't want the track to be completely different because it's historical, but they're going to have to add things in there to make it more feasible for racing. Because at the moment, it's just one behind another. But then you look at Stroll, he did get an overtake, and Lewis did get an overtake too, but it was just far and few between, and it just wasn't enough. It wasn't a race, it was a qualifier. The whole weekend was a qualifier, which I enjoyed the qualifying. The qualifying this weekend was impeccable, couldn't beat it, best of the year. I don't think we're going to see better. It's just every qualifying bit, because everyone needs to go out. Everyone needs to go out straight away. There's no sitting around bollocks. People sat in the paddock just going, yep, I'm happy with that time, coming back in. Everyone was like, fuck, got to keep going, got to keep pushing. And that's what makes Monaco so exciting, because they know wherever they qualify is where they're going to end up in the race, which is great because, they're going to be watching a whole qualifier then pushing. But it's also shit because they know where they qualify is where they're going to finish the race pretty much. Like, give or take a couple spaces unless you DNF. Sorry to see Alonso go, because that was annoying. He had some decent points for grabs, and then his engine decided to fucking, whatever it was, I don't know if his battery went or I'm not sure what the fuck happened, but Alonso's had an absolute stinker of a season when it comes to luck. But yeah, I just wish Monaco just had that little bit more of a race, and I just wasn't happy with it, to be honest with you. And that's why I didn't post a podcast straight after the race. So I watched it, and I probably wasn't going to do it straight after because I was half pissed. But the day after, I was just disappointed. It's like I said, it's kind of like your football team you really wanted to see do really well, or like that big game you were looking forward to watching, and it was a load of shit. Like, Ferrari's my team too, so that hurt me a little bit more as well, because like I was saying a minute ago, you saw Leclerc 0.443 seconds behind Lando. You think he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to be second year in a row winning at Monaco. He's going to do it. And he couldn't. He couldn't do it. And I'm just going to go through the top five drivers. So so Lando had lapped everyone up to 5th place. So from 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, they were the only cars who weren't lapped this weekend. I mean, you had some cars, you had Kimi Antonelli being lapped 3 times, but most of them were lapped twice. Majority of them were lapped twice. Only 3 drivers were lapped once, and then you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drivers lapped 2 times, and 1 lapped 3 times, and 2 DNF'd. That is fucking mad. Mad. Wasn't it at one point like Ollie Behrman had the quickest lap, and Max was in P1 and Ollie was driving quicker where he was or something. I remember seeing the stat. We were like, that's a glitch. That's no way that's happened. And then the commentators were like, oh my God, you just seen Ollie Behrman do this. Because there's just such massive gaps in like these drivers. They're just silly. And yeah, I'm just a bit annoyed by it, to be honest with you. We've got Spain this weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. But they've got to do something with these cars. They can't, like the 2026 regulations with their new change with the cars. We've got this active aero, this X and Y wings coming in, like the front and rear wings, and all of this bollocks. Let's face it, is bollocks. None of us really want to see this. Well, maybe you do, and maybe you're just like, no, I'm here for the racing. I want it to be good racing, and I'm here. I'm for that too. But at the same time, it's the hybrid era again. It's a 50-50 power unit and battery unit, I guess you want to call it, setup. Instead of it being a fucking V8 or V12 or V10, or is it we're in V6 at the moment? Where like instead of it being a V10 or a V12, it's a fucking that. And it's going to be a 50-50 power unit next year. And teams are already concerned about, like some of the long straights like Monza, that they might run out of juice by the end of the fucking straight. Like, what the fuck? And I get why F1 are doing this. They're trying to make the sport like good for me, not good for the environment, but doesn't affect the environment as much as it is doing to it. But it's just not enjoyable. Make a small car with a V10 engine or a V12, a V8, we'll take that, or even a V6. Just a smaller car, sounding incredible and quick. It doesn't need to be the quickest car. We've seen this in Miami with the Lego cars. The Lego cars, my brother works for Lego, but this isn't a biasism for it. I loved it. I loved that it was slow paced, it was entertaining, and the drivers, it was, to be fair to them, the speed of the cars and how they drove the cars to get ahead of them was pure racing. And it was a fucking toy. We all love this motorsport F1 because listen to my podcast. You're listening to it because you're just listening to it, and thank you very much for listening to it. But if you're listening to it because you're an F1 fan, you're listening to an F1 fan rant and talk about their opinions, that's why you're here, and I appreciate you listening to me because I do. And if you've got any opinions, by the way, guys, or comments of how you feel it's going with these cars, write it in the comments, and I'll read it and I'll talk about it in the next podcast, because I want it to be a community of opinions. I don't want it to just be me telling you how I feel, even if that's right now what's going on, because you're listening to me. I feel like the cars are too fucking big. And I don't give a fuck if the front wing opens and changes or the rear wing opens and changes. I want DRS to be a thing because it helps overtakes. But at the same time, can we have that with a V10 or a V12? Like, why can't we? And why can't the cars be smaller? They're cheaper to make with just a Bob standard. I say Bob standard, it's not Bob standard. But compared to this hybrid battery fucking regen system and all of this bollocks and active aero and all of this stupidly computer generate, what would you want to fucking call it? Like all of this like high spec stuff, it's just expensive. And it's hard for other teams to get into this sport. F1 Ben Sulayem was like, let's look at V10s or V12s and bring them back. But the reason why they're not going to bring them back is because they've got Audi joining next year. Audi have joined the F1 fucking world because of their hybrid system. They've been developing it for years, and they think it's a good place for them to bring their hybrid system to F1 and sell their cars on the premise that they have an F1 team. And why would F1 then withdraw their multi-billion pound, all this money with Audi just for this? They won't. It's a business at the end of the day, and they want to make money. And then you've got General Motors coming in with a Cadillac next year. They would probably prefer a V10 because of Cadillac. I would assume, I might be wrong, or V8, but they're not. And I'm just like, And then you've got teams like apparently Ford are coming out with Red Bull development for their engines next year, but Red Bull and Ford are kind of like, I think more Red Bull are developing the engine from what I've heard, but they apparently are struggling with their power unit. The only teams who are supposedly be doing okay is Mercedes with their power unit. So McLaren, Mercedes. Who else uses a Mercedes power unit? You've got Alpine next year using it. Aston Martin going to be Honda. I think that's Haas as well. So you've got those 4 teams, Williams, 5 teams who were using the Mercedes power unit, who are all good. But you got other couple, like I don't know how Honda are going to be next year, because Honda, just let Honda be Honda. Give them the V10s, give them the V12s. Let them have it. You got Ferrari saying their engine's pretty good too. It's all pie in the sky bollocks. And I just can't be bothered with this tech race when it comes to engine development. Why don't they just have synthetic fuels, which, don't do damage to the environment, and whatever they put out, they put back in. Just give us that. I'd rather it be that. Smaller cars, more racing. Like I said, we've seen it in Formula E. We see it in the past where F1 cars could actually race around Monaco. Like at Senna's era, their cars were nice and small. They could race at Monaco. But yeah, not today. This is fucking annoying. But yeah, it's just my little rant really to Monaco. I was very disappointed. And yeah, I just thought I'd tell you. And I'm going to go with my biggest winners in all of this. Like, my biggest winner was obviously Lando. He had an incredible race weekend. He's shrunk the gap between him and Piastri. He had great qualifying. He seemed to be a world champion this weekend. And it was good to see, really good to see. My biggest loser, if you're going to talk about biggest losers and shit, like so many people do this, and I thought, well, why not? Why can't I do it? My biggest loser was Fernando Alonso. I thought he was going to win his first points this weekend for Aston Martin. Looked strong, looked competitive, looked happy for once as well in the Aston Martin, and I was lapping it up. I was like, oh my god, he's actually going to get some points, and he's going to shut up some of his critics this year, even though he's been the best out of the 2 drivers, even if the points don't show that. He's an incredible driver for his age and, just his caliber. He's great, but he's just the shittest luck. I think he's the biggest loser, in my opinion. You could either say Mercedes were the biggest losers because where they came, 0 points from both their drivers, and Antonelli being lapped 3 times, not looking great. The best team, I would say, this weekend was Racing Bulls. I think the Racing Bulls did a hell of a job, even though it was boring. You got Isaac and Liam in P6 with Isaac and P8 with Liam. Again, boring, but great for them. 12 points for that team. And well done to Liam for getting some points, because I slagged him off before the race saying you fucking trash. Again, Spain might come back around and go, yeah, he is still shit. But they're my top 3. And then the team I want to see more do better of, a team I want to see, probably Mercedes, to be honest. Mercedes. They had an absolutely shocking weekend. Just awful. Very bad. Very bad for that caliber of team. And yeah, I hope you agree with me. If you don't, tell me yours. And yeah, I can read it out in the next one. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. And I'm looking forward to the Spanish Grand Prix. I'm hoping there's going to be a little bit of a change in the system. I know they're going to be changing a little bit of the setups on the car and this active aero stuff with the front wing bending and all of this. They're going to be changing that and making the front wings a little bit more firmer. So that might change with McLaren, how they drive, and McLaren's maybe Red Bull might creep back in, because apparently Red Bull haven't been doing that with the flexi wing. But I don't know. Why? Yeah, but we'll see. We will see. But anyway, thanks very much for listening to this little podcast, this little rant. And sorry about I didn't enjoy Monaco. I didn't. I thought it was a pile of shit, to be honest with you. And I was really disappointed because I love Monaco and it was just crap. But anyway, thanks for listening. And I will hopefully catch you guys again on the next one. All the best. Love ya. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Red Line Racing